What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the series. So today we're gonna learn what might actually be one of your first combos in 5A. If you're new to the channel, or maybe you're newer to 5A, I highly recommend checking out the other videos I posted in the past on this channel because it has a lot of foundation work which will help a lot for learning this trick. That said, let's jump into it. So there's a lot of things going on in this trick, but most of the things that are within the elements of this trick are actually things that are pretty easy and things that I've also taught in my past videos. Ultimately, the entire trick is combining the idea of the 720 we learned, the vine we learned, as well as also a new concept involving our shoulder that I'm going to get to in a second. That said, let's start with step one. First step of this trick is you're going to be throwing a trapeze. Once we hit that trapeze, we're going to be performing a 720, except instead of catching the dice after we perform a 720, we're actually going to let the dice swing out of the gap of the yo-yo. As the dice leaves the yo-yo, we're going to continue to let the counterweight revolve all the way around and go back into the gap of the yo-yo from the bottom. When the dice comes back around, we're going to catch it and we're going to be in a undermount. You can practice this motion by first getting used to the idea of the counterweight leaving the gap of the yo-yo entirely, and also be mindful of your free hand. Your free hand is going to kind of pinch the strings between your pointer and your middle finger as the dice leaves the yo-yo. This allows the yo-yo to kind of stay in one place, and the counterweight then can revolve around without completely falling, getting too short, or dropping the yo-yo entirely. Note that my free hand actually turns upward at the end of this trick portion. Goes from my middle finger with my palm facing down, and then as the counterweight leaves the yo-yo and the string comes around, it's going to go around my middle finger. Remember that we're pinching between the pointer and middle, and then when it transfers to my middle finger, my hand is then going to be pointed upward. To really nail this element, you want to make sure that everything is on the correct plane, meaning that the counterweight and the yo-yo should be in the same line of direction at all times. If the counterweight is going out of direction at all with the yo-yo, that's not going to be able to come around and get into the gap of the yo-yo when you're trying to land that undermount. Practice doing this section as many times as you can until it feels really consistent. The next step is going to be a counterweight release that's going to involve a rebound off of our elbow and shoulder area. When we're in the undermount, we're going to be tossing the counterweight over towards our free hand so that the string actually comes out of the gap of the yo-yo. It's important at this section that we're keeping that little pinch between our middle and pointer finger. It's going to keep the yo-yo in place and allow the counterweight to have a better movement. We're going to toss the counterweight so it swings down below us, and then we're going to stick out our elbow a little bit, and it's going to allow the counterweight to hit off the bottom portion between our elbow and shoulder. Note that we want to give a very ever so slight tug away from our body, from our free hand, as the counterweight is coming over from below and hitting our body, because we want that counterweight to be able to kind of bounce back and not just hit and then fall down. The angle of our arm in this step is also really important. We want to make sure that it also is aligned with the plane of the yo-yo, because if our arm is coming at an angle at all, it's going to bounce the counterweight in a direction that we don't want it to go, either too far to the left or too far to the right. Ideally, we want it to be perfectly in line with the yo-yo itself, so that when it bounces back, it can go right back into the gap of the yo-yo and into our hand. Now there's a little bit of a difference when we catch the counterweight on the second go around. This time, instead of having the string from the counterweight go over our free hand fingers, we're actually going to allow it to miss our free hand fingers entirely and catch it back in our throw hand. This is going to set you up in kind of a pseudo undermount trapeze looking dealio. From this section, we are going to be performing the reverse vine or undermount vine. Allow the revolution to happen, the counterweight to unwind with the yo-yo, and catch it back in your throw hand. The final step of this trick, once you're here, is to simply swing the yo-yo up and land on a trapeze to complete the trick. So here's another breakdown and step by step. Trapeze, 720, stop the yo-yo, let it swing out. Catch the counterweight in your throw hand. Toss the counterweight over, let it bounce off of your shoulder. Catch it again, but miss these fingers right here. form a reverse vine. So it goes down, rolls around, and catch on the bottom end, swing it up in trapeze. Learning this trick is a great example of putting together things that are pretty basic movements to create an entire combo that looks really good and feels really good to hit. I hope you guys enjoyed learning this trick, practice it often, and once again, thank you for watching this video, thank you for keeping up with the series. I'm going to be releasing a lot more tutorials, not only just during 5AMA, but also continuing on in the future, so definitely stay tuned for that. Once again, I'm Josh Yee. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you next time.